Yeah, and that's what's so frustrating to me is where I'm seeing wedding photographers and filmmakers jump on going to things like Engage and really spending a lot of time and money on trying to build all these relationships at high levels when it's not going to help them yet because they haven't even mastered steps one, two, and three yet. Those are the things that you need to do before you jump into the next levels like building relationships. This is the Level Up Podcast. I'm Taylor Petrinovich,
And I'm Kelly Gilster of 618 Studios.
and we are on a mission to help wedding filmmakers and photographers level up their businesses so you can make more and work less.
We want to help you confidently take your business from mainstream to luxury, and it all starts right here.
Hey, friends, and welcome to another episode of the Level Up Podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Petrinovich, joined as always by my friend, Kelly Gilster.
Hi, guys. We are sitting in April. Taylor, how's your April going?
Oh, it is going so great. I love springtime. It might be my absolute favorite season, but I think what I love most about it is that wedding season is upon us. So many people I've been seeing on Instagram are shooting some of their very first events of the year, which to me is so exciting because every season when we're getting started feels like the opportunity for using it as a springboard for their next season. I don't know. I'm just very like obsessed with growth and always looking to what's next. So these little kinds of things excite me a lot. And really quickly, before I just forget to plug, next week we have a really exciting free workshop that we would love to invite you to if you haven't already signed up. It is called Breaking into the Luxury Market, and we would love to see you there. It's going to give you the steps that you need to take your business from the mainstream market, where maybe you're charging two, three, four, $5,000, into the luxury market where you can be booking those eight, 10, $12,000 or more weddings. This is for photographers and filmmakers. It's very business focused. So no matter what discipline you are within the wedding industry, it would absolutely apply to you. And we would love to see you there. This has been a really transformational experience for so many of our past students. And we know it would make a big impact on your business too. So you can find that at thelevelupco.com/workshop and save your seat there. And yeah, so kind of a lot of things going on. You guys, I just finished this cup of coffee and my brain is like running on two times speed,
I love it. It really is. I can tell. I can tell that the coffee has hit officially.
which is so great.
I should probably go get myself a second cup so I can be on your same level. You guys, let's dive right into this episode. I'm so excited for this one. We're going to be uncovering the 5 things that separates luxury wedding creatives from others.
Okay, so we totally understand luxury is a buzzword. Right? Like everyone says luxury, everyone wants to be luxury, blah, 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 blah. Not even just in the wedding industry. I see it in like interior design, in fashion. Like that word is just being like so overused and overhyped. But one thing I think that we fail to remember is just by the nature of being categorized as luxury, it means that you are like set apart from the rest. You are a little bit more, harder to access maybe. You have this, what's the word I'm looking for? Like aspirational kind of like level to you. You're doing things different. And so just because of the fact that luxury means different and set apart, there are things that luxury photographers, filmmakers, and planners, makeup artists are doing differently in their businesses that helped them get there.
Yeah. And I want to say that what we are uncovering today isn't just things that's meant for luxury. If you're sitting here and you're like, I don't know if luxury is for me, which it really can be. It's not for everyone else out there. It is for you too. If you want to tackle it, you can. There are so many other filmmakers that are super talented that I see stuck in that middle market, in that mainstream market, that absolutely deserve to be in the luxury market. There are filmmakers wildly more talented than I am that really should be working in the luxury market. And those luxury clients are honestly waiting for you to be in front of them, to position yourself in front of them. So Taylor, what's the first one we want to do for ways that luxury creatives are just separated from others?
Okay, yes. So most, no, not most, all. all luxury creatives have a brand that feels high end right from the very first click. So your brand is the sum of all the tiny little micro places you're showing up online and in person. So that's your Instagram presence, your website, your email, signature, how you're communicating everywhere. And high end vendors in the luxury wedding space have this locked in. They totally understand that consistency is 100% key when it comes to the luxury space. Every touch point needs to feel identical to the last, and everything needs to be polished. No stone is unturned. We're not seeing typos anywhere. We're not seeing, misses anywhere, or places where you're showing up online and thinking to yourself, like, ooh, that didn't really like make a lot of sense. Everything is like perfectly aligned within their brand.
Yes, and I want it to be, like, really understood that if this brand of yours is not polished, you're going to lose the clients before they even inquire with you. Like, you don't know how many really qualified leads could be landing on your website. Maybe they saw a reel of yours where you produced really beautiful imagery and they're like, "Oh, wow," like, it really caught their eye, and then they hopped over to your Instagram and they're like, okay, like it's feeling okay. And then they hop over to the website and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, this is not feeling like the same caliber that I first experienced with this beautiful imagery that I saw for the very first time. And then they're just going to click off and they're never going to inquire because they've already lost trust in you.
Yeah, absolutely. Consistency is what builds trust. It's like your work is what reels them in. Your work is what like catches their attention, but your brand seals the deal. And your brand is what like
Yeah.
solidifies that trust to where they may trust you with their most important day ever.
Yes.
Um,
The difference between chasing those clients and becoming magnetic. They're gonna become magnetic to your brand if it speaks to them every step of the way.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, Kelly. So, what's the second one that luxury wedding creatives are doing that the mainstream market generally is, batting zero at?
Luxury wedding creatives, they will take the lead. And I wanna say that this is not in like a bossy, I'm gonna be like the bold coming into the getting ready room and like demanding things, but they their clients look to them as an expert. And it's up to you as the expert to act like the expert throughout the course of the whole day. We juggle so many things on the wedding day and even before the wedding day. They want you to take the lead on where is going to be the best place for them to, source an outfit maybe. Or where is going to be the best place for them to have their engagement photos rather than like, I don't really know. And then you're like, yeah, I don't really know too. I don't know, wherever you want to do them. And
Oh
it's
my gosh, I've
like,
actually had like a few experiences. Like, it's been a few years now, but I shot a wedding with this photographer, and I was low key kind of cringing the whole time. I was like watching this person's interaction with the clients because this photographer kept asking, where do you want to take family photos? Where do you want to go for portraits? What do you want? And I'm just imagining like the client feeling like, I don't know, you're the expert. Like, you tell me, that's why I hired you. And I think it's like done, usually, I think it's done in like a caring way, like wanting to take into account like the client's desires, but it's bogging them down with having to think when on their wedding day, they should not have to think at all. Everything should just be so smooth and taken care of for them. Another example would be, let's say you're a photographer and you're not quite yet working with wedding planners, which means for a lot of photographers, um, unfortunately, the timeline kind of falls on you. Sorry, guys. Like, filmmakers don't have to deal with that, yay us, but you do, and so that looks like approaching the timeline conversation being like, "So, when do you want to do this? When do," instead of being like, "Generally speaking, like, my clients do this at this time, followed by this, like, blah, 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 blah," like, taking the lead and taking initiative and showing them what's standard or what's protocol or what's normal. Um, you instantly are gonna lose confidence in people if you're wishy-washy, if you're not showing up as the expert. Immediately it kind of deteriorates your value in their eyes. It's not that you are actually less valuable, it's that it's the perceived value.
Yes, absolutely. And this is also just like a mindset shift. We're getting now into the mind of how just high net wealth individuals think. And they are used to hiring lots of people to take the heavy lifting from them and just take the lead on things, right? So let's take a restaurant for example. So let's walk into, a Red Robin. And the Red Robin has a humongous menu, pages and pages and pages. They've actually just also introduced pizza to their menu, which I don't know if you have seen that, Taylor. We are highly invested in the Skillster household of Red Robin because Paul worked at Red Robin before we started our company, and he actually worked at Red Robin the first 9 months while we had our company and we're getting things off the ground. So, we just like still love to go back there, and it's just like fun, and you can't beat the steak fries. So anyways, it is filled with so much variety that you don't even know what to do with, and you can be like the pickiest human and just customize your burger to exactly your liking. And so in our minds, as maybe a mainstream vendor, and you're thinking about this, you're like, well, you're customizing. Like maybe luxury clients, they want to customize and they want to be able to have those things. That's actually quite the opposite. It's what budget people do. And when we are eating at Red Robin, we're not spending lots of like our bill at the end of the night isn't huge. But if we were to go to a Michelin star restaurant, what's the difference? You walk in, it's not loud and chaotic and crazy, and there's not children, like, licking ketchup off the tables. It's just a more refined experience, and the menu is so much more condensed and well thought out. And you might see that little fine print at the bottom that says, "Substitutions will not be accepted," meaning you are really not allowed to make changes to that dish. And so this Michelin star chef has spent so long refining this one recipe. Maybe it's like that signature dish of theirs. And so in those that type of clientele, like that person that chose to go to that restaurant, they respect that. And so that's just the level of expert that they're used to, you know, experiencing, whether it's someone working on their home, a contractor or an interior designer, or that Michelin star chef that they go and visit that restaurant a couple times a year.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're not saying okay, so I can see, like, how maybe what we're saying could potentially be misconstrued. We're not saying don't be flexible on your offerings or, like, creating proposals. We're not saying to not be flexible with pricing. We're saying to take the lead as the authority and to showcase that you are in fact an expert and to like lead the conversation to guide your people. That can look like how how you hop onto consultation calls. Like maybe you're used to being like spend 5 minutes chit chatting and then when you're done with small talk, you go, so, like, what do you wanna talk about? Or do you have any questions for me? Or like this like kinda awkward, like putting the client in the position where they have to now like step into that lead role instead of purposefully walking them through as the authority, how the call is going to look and having something prepared. Like having that like level of preparedness before you go into any sort of circumstance is gonna automatically set you apart from your mainstream counterparts.
Yeah, luxury clients, like they just love that level of leadership. So look at all of those touch points that you currently have with your clients and where could you be refining that leadership to speak to, more to speak in more of a luxury way.
Yeah, leadership. Leadership is absolute key. Also, you have to remember like who you're probably working with. Like these are no longer blue collared workers. I mean, like that's our family is more in alignment with that. Like,
Yeah.
um,
Red
you
Robin
know,
over here for sure.
yeah, but like now we're working with lawyers, doctors, engineers. Like that's kind of at the next level. And then a level above that is the CEOs, the finance bros, 6'5" blue eyes and all of that.
I was waiting for that. If you weren't gonna do it, I was gonna do it.
Oh my
I
gosh.
might have broken out in song too.
6'5", blue eyes. If you guys are not on TikTok and you did not catch that trend, then maybe you don't know what we're talking about, but if you know, you know. And if you're listening to this and you were around for that TikTok era last summer, drop us, maybe like an eyes emoji,
Oh my gosh.
so you know that you're listening to this, in the DMs. We would love to hear from you and know who else is chronically online when it comes to TikTok. So
We
fun.
love the TikToks.
Anyway, we digress. There's a few more things that you're gonna want to shift for sure if you want to tee yourself up for becoming luxury. And I want to actually just stay before you jump into the next one. These are all things that you shouldn't like wait until you're like ready to be luxury to start implementing. It's very much so in this scenario, like putting the cart before the horse, dressing for the job you want, putting all these things in place before you're actually in that position because you're never going to become luxury or you're never going to successfully charge those $10,000 rates until you have all of this locked in, until you master these things. Like, please don't go jumping into going to engage or trying to build all the relationships before you have these foundational elements in place because like that's going to be kind of a waste of time. So we're going to move on to the next ones because again, these are so important and we want to make sure you're shifting the way you're approaching your business and all of these ways to set yourself up for success.
Yes. So the third one is that luxury creatives understand that their work is not for everyone. Taylor, do you want to unpack that one a little bit?
Yes, I feel like it's definitely just kind of following a natural trajectory of business. So and a few episodes ago, you can scroll back and find it. We talked about, some things that you used to do maybe as like a hobbyist instead of as a business owner. And I talked a lot about habits in that episode. So if you're curious about that and haven't checked it out, go listen. But in the early days of business, we have to approach business with an extremely open mind because you don't have a brand established, you don't have a reputation, and you don't have any clients. So you kind of have to like take everyone who's willing to pay you. Whether you were doing it for free for $500, $1,000 in those early days, whatever it was, you were just so excited every single time a client inquired and booked you, no matter what kind of wedding or what kind of client it was. Unfortunately, I do think that a lot of people stay in that mentality a little bit too long. They are willing to book literally everybody and anybody, which is fine in certain circumstances. Like if you're struggling financially, like yes, please just like book if you need to like pay the bills. But if you're looking at it from a strategic standpoint, and again, like literally the fact that something is luxury means it's like set apart. So if you want to be set apart from quote unquote the rest, you have to do things a little bit differently. And one of those things is being really, really conscientious of who we are booking, who we are aligning ourselves with, because every wedding we book, capture, and post about online, anywhere, whether it's on your website or on social media, wherever. It's a direct reflection back on your brand. It's like shining like a mirror back at yourself in that way. And if you are maybe like shooting a wide array of types of clients in different types of venues, different aesthetics and vibes at different price points, it's going to feel very muddled and confusing. And that's not what luxury clients are looking for. They want something that feels super specific and super aligned. And the only way you can achieve that is by being kind of picky with who you are booking.
Yeah, intentional. Like the intentionality is what is going to keep building that established reputation that you have in the industry. A few weeks ago, we had a podcast episode out and we asked the question, which Taylor and I are constantly asking ourselves, and you should be asking yourself too, is it good for the brand? So these inquiries that are coming in, and maybe you are 70% booked for the year, and you can be a little bit more discerning with what you can take. I actually had an experience myself where I consulted Taylor on 2 inquiries that I'd received for the same weekend, both great, one more qualified than the other, and I kinda had to make the decision of, like, which one do I want to prioritize and pursue more heavily, and I basically outlined the location, who the planner was, who the photographer was, and Taylor gave me a very clear path of like, absolutely, you have to prioritize this one over the other one. When in the past, I probably would have prioritized the other one for other reasons. I won't get into it, but, like, I would have really held myself back a little bit on that one. And that just honestly came from, like, I just have to recondition myself, which a lot of us here are going to have to keep reconditioning themselves because I also fell victim to being the type where I, treated every wedding the same for
Mhm.
way too long than I needed to.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, basically, like, asking yourself, like, which one is going to move my business closer towards my end goal, and not all weddings are gonna do that. Like, some are literally just for the paycheck, and other ones are total business changers. We all can, look back at our past seasons and kind of pinpoint which weddings, like, really did move the needle. And also, like, every yes you say, like, or like every wedding you book is closing the door on all different weddings that you could have possibly booked for that weekend or with that spot. So like if you only book 10 weddings a year, like that's a tenth. That's like literally one big chunk of your whole season that you just, booked. And if it wasn't going to be one that moves the needle, then it's kind of a wasted space and you now have to say no to something else that could have been a little bit better aligned, or something that could have actually like progressed your business a little bit farther. I've been on like a bit of a Mel Robbins kick, and she uses the phrase, like, moving it down the field, like football analogy, like getting it closer to the end zone. And if you look at the end zone as your goal, like, each wedding has the possibility of taking that ball, like, an additional 5 yards or 10 yards, or it can even set you back, and, like, it could be, like, I don't really know football that much, but, like, a fumble and then, like, it goes in the opposite direction or, like, something like that, I don't know. I think you get what
Oh
I'm saying.
my gosh, that was if Paul was hearing you talk about that right now, he would just be, like, so mortified.
I
Your
am not a
husband isn't
sports
really a
gal,
football
but I
guy.
think you get what I'm saying.
I feel like your husband's not a football guy.
No, he'll, like, watch the Super Bowl, and he, like,
Okay,
knows how it works, but, like, we're not, like, sports fans at all in this household.
okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's why. I feel like I have to, like, know the football things because ESPN is chronically on the TV at my house. Anyways, let's move to the 4th point, which is luxury creatives care more about the experience than they do the final product. This is probably my favorite of the 5, this one, because it's the thing that really changed the game for me. As creatives, we've talked about this a lot before, but we obsess over our art, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. In the beginning, you kind of have to obsess about the art because you have to get your work to a certain caliber. But when you start obsessing about the experience, that is really when things catapult like for you because that's what it's all about at this level too, is the experience. And I recognized that if my client had an incredible experience, they're going to go into enjoying that final gallery or those final films, enjoying them so much more because of the experience. If they had a terrible experience with myself and Paul, they're going to view their film, or if you're a photographer, that final gallery, and they're gonna be, like, looking for all the little spots or remembering areas of the wedding day where they felt uncomfortable or areas of the wedding day where they wish that they weren't out taking portraits and away from their party for 30 minutes, things like that. So, obsess about the experience, you guys. It is so, like, slept on when it comes to, us as creatives. Taylor,
Yeah.
anything to add?
Yeah, just one really quick thing, it can be so simple, like shifts as reading the room, guys, and like picking up on cues that people give you on a very human level. So actually, we're coming up on our 10-year wedding anniversary this year.
Congratulations.
And thanks. It's so fun. And I every time I think back to my wedding, I mean, it was overall fine and great and whatever, but, I made the mistake of kind of cheaping out on my photographer. Again, I am not my ideal client, so we probably spent, like, whatever, 25 or 30 grand on our whole wedding, and I was willing to fork out, like, $3,500 for my videographer, and then I paid $1,200 for my photographer. So I was,
Oh,
like,
okay.
that rare occurrence where, like, it was, like, opposite of what most people do. And Sadly, it showed, and it affected a lot of the flow of the day. We didn't do a first look, so that means, like, all the portraits were jammed into after the ceremony, and it makes my, like, skin crawl how long we spent on bridal party, photos,
Yeah,
like, the groom and the groomsmen and the bride, like, all of those and, like, us all together, like, I don't need 3,000 pictures of, like,
a
all
group.
the groomsmen holding me up, and then all the groomsmen holding James up, and then all the brides blowing kisses at James, and then or bridesmaids, and then all like, why do we have so many of like, why did we spend 15 minutes doing that? Like, not I don't wanna look at any of those photos, if I'm being totally
Yeah.
honest.
You're,
And,
like,
like, it
dragged to
took
the trash folder. Like, you
yeah,
wouldn't be
and, like,
sad
it
if they were
took
gone.
so much time, like, we didn't
Yeah.
get to enjoy a single minute of cocktail hour. Again, like, part of that's our fault, we didn't do a first look, blah, 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 blah. But, like oh, and then we only got like 7 portraits of just the 2 of us.
Really?
Yes, and I could tell the
Oh,
photographer felt bad because he did offer, like, a few weeks after he emailed me, and he was like, "I feel really bad about that, like, can I take you guys out, like, anywhere, like, get back into your wedding stuff, and, like, we'll take portraits?" And, like, by then, like, I had honeymooned, I was already, like I got
pregnant.
pregnant with yeah, I was already pregnant, and I was like, "My dress is not gonna fit, like, there's no way." And so, like, I declined, but it was a great offer, but, like, I missed out on, like, what actually mattered, like, not some random sorry, like, I love most of my bridesmaids, but, like, I don't even talk to one of them anymore, like, you know what I mean? Like, we missed out on what was, like, the most important, the experience of the day and what I actually wanted, you know what I mean? And it was, like, you could have seen like, the writing on the wall, like, we're all sweating and, like, awkwardly, like, laughing and, like, just going along with it when, like,
Yeah,
we didn't need to do that, come on. So, anyway,
totally.
this is
Read
just,
the
like,
room.
read the room and, like, prioritize experience over everything.
Okay, I'll make really quick story time because now I'm kinda going on a thing, but I was talking with a photographer friend of mine yesterday, and we were in the car driving to dinner, and he was talking about a wedding that he has, and it's gonna be a big one, and it's destination, so it's really important that the person's easy to travel with, and so he's going through, like, a few different people that he could choose, and we were talking about just, like, demeanor, and I'm like, "Okay, well, let's also look at it as, like, who's going to be good for the brand?" Again, that question, "Is
Wait,
this
is this
good
in
for the
terms of
brand?"
second shooters?
Yes, second
Okay.
shooters, yes, sorry, thanks for clarifying. So, second shooters, and so he had, like, 3 people that he could choose from for that, and I was kind of like, yes, this person is good at that. They can turn it on. This person isn't like the greatest at that, so you may not want them client facing as much. But then this person, like he can read a room. And that was like to me, like if that person can read a room, it is literally the most powerful thing when it comes to experience on the wedding day and what really separates luxury creatives from others.
Yeah, and sometimes it literally just means, like, getting out of your tunnel vision, like, stop obsessing about, like, your camera and, like, what shot you want next and, like, all the techie, nerdy stuff, and, like, take a step back and, like, remember that we work in hospitality. Like, we work in the events industry, it's very human focused. We are in hospitality, and that comes first. Um, and that's what sets the Four Seasons apart from, you know, I don't know, the Sheraton. Yeah, motel okay, I hope none of us are listening to this are Motel 6. Our audience is way better. Our audience is, like, for sure at least Hilton level, if not, like, way better than that too, I think. So
Yes.
and then there's just one more. So, obviously I think what happens for a lot of people is they think they know what they need to do in order to, scale their businesses, get to the next level, raise their prices, but they're not able to kind of, like, take the step back and look at the entire business from this standpoint. Like, sometimes you just don't know what you don't know, and
Yeah.
there are so many things that we can, um, just make small shifts in our business that mean the biggest difference, and you will never get to the level that you're looking for unless you do change those things. So, we have one more thing on this list, and we're going to be breaking down, some different things that you can walk away with inside that workshop that I shared with you at the beginning of the episode, break into the luxury market. Again, if you are looking to either become the premium option in your local market, where maybe you're like the highest paid photographer in Spokane, Washington, or whatever it may be, or maybe you want to go for the full fledged luxury market where you're charging 10, 15, $20,000, this is the perfect place to start because you do not know what you don't know until you know it. And so Kelly and I want to show you. We want to show you the path. So, Kelly, what's number 5?
Number 5 is that luxury creatives are intentional about everything that they put online. This goes for your Instagram. This goes for even Instagram stories. This goes for website copy, um,
TikTok?
headshots, TikTok stuff, everything, everything. They are so intentional about it because they're consistently asking themselves, is it good for the brand?
Even like how you're commenting on other people's posts. Like that should always be coming across in your brand voice.
Yes.
Like if
Yes.
your brand is not a yes, queen slay kind of brand, then like don't be saying that anywhere
Yes.
publicly.
Yes. If you're more understated, then be more understated in your comments or whatever it is, I think that's another thing too is like you're setting up this persona online, this brand that's online that people are interacting with for the very first time, many times before they ever meet you in person. You really want to be sure that the brand reflects you as a person too. I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that mainstream photographers and filmmakers sit there and say, all luxury brands are the same. And that is simply not true. If that were true, then there wouldn't be dozens, hundreds, maybe, I don't know, of luxury handbags out there. And they have a specific clientele and they have a specific brand voice for that handbag that's speaking to that client. Your Gucci client is not your Celine client, you know? There are two
Yeah.
different personas and people. And so you really need to, make sure that like you as a person is being reflected in the brand, but in an elevated way. There's like so many pieces to the puzzle. I mean, Taylor and I we could talk about it all day long.
All day long. Yeah. So there you go, guys. Those are 5 things that luxury wedding creatives, whether that be photographers, filmmakers, planners, are doing in their businesses really successfully that ultimately cues them up for success. And if you haven't mastered all of these things, and if you don't know them inside and out, like the back of your hand, then there's really not a lot you can do when it comes to growing your business beyond that. You have to master those principles first. So, we don't want to see you guys, going and spending huge amounts of money on huge conferences if you don't have these things mastered. We don't want you, putting all the time into going to workshops or, trying to build those relationships or whatever it may be, even like spending like, 8 grand on a custom website. Like if you don't have like these basics mastered, then it's just going to be kind of wasted time and wasted dollars. So it really all boils back to these basic principles that we all have to live by if we want to see success in the premium or luxury space.
Absolutely. Well, we hope to see you guys next week at our workshop, Breaking into the Luxury Market. Again, this is a free virtual workshop that we will be walking you through how to finally break into the luxury market once and for all. Or, like Taylor said, be the premium option in your local market. It's truly an incredible workshop. We have had people walk away after going through this workshop and say, I was able to raise my prices almost immediately because of the skills that you walked us through and understanding things in a completely new way. And so the same can be for you too. So we hope to see you there next week. Come and hang out with us. We'd love to have you with us.
Thank you for joining us in today's conversation. Please help us reach more filmmakers and photographers like you by taking a screenshot and sharing it to social media. And don't forget to tag us at The Level Up Co.
And join us again next week, same time, same place, as we continue to level up the industry together.